Hi guys, it's Usernamekate and welcome back to my channel. So today's offering, I'm going to be doing a walk around the Sinnis GPX 125. Now this is a brand new offering from Sinnis. They haven't done a sports bike before that's a 125. So I'm going to talk you through this bike, normal format. You'll get to know the specs of the bike, the components, things that I like about it. You'll also get an idea about the seat height of the bike and how easy it is to push around, manhandle and all that jazz. So without running the risk of sounding too much like the Missing and Flyer, if that sounds like something of interest, stick around and stay tuned. Okie dokie, so what do we have here? Well, to me, I think we've got quite an angular looking 125. It looks really, really aggressive and doesn't look out of place amongst its Japanese and Austrian competitors. So as some of you guys know, Sinnis is a Chinese brand. But I have to say, walking around this bike, do not be fooled in thinking that Chinese equals cheap. Because there are some features on this bike which are quite interesting. The quality on some of these components is something that I wasn't quite expecting. So to start with, we've got a steel tubular chassis. It's got a 125 4-stroke Euro 5 compliant engine. It is a generic single cylinder as you usually find on the 125s. Now just jumping straight into price on this bike before I forget, because I'm pretty good at that. This bike retails at £3,299 plus on the road. So realistically I think it's going to be more or less £3,399 by the time you leave the dealership. Now that is a seriously strong price, given that the only 125 sports bike that I can see that's cheaper than that is the Lex Moto. And then obviously you've got the Japanese competitors. I think you have Kawasaki starting in at the low 4,000s, and then it goes up and up all the way to the Austrian offering, KTM, at just a touch over £5,000. So I think for 3,000, let's call it £3,400 on the road, I don't think that's too shabby. So let's look at this front end now. I do apologise, it is a bit dirty because I have been out enjoying myself on this bike. So starting on the suspension, the front suspension, you've got upside down forks, 48mm. That is some nice kit on a 125. So I like that Sinnis have put upside downers on. If we have a look around here, commonplace for 125s, single disc. And of course you've got a rather funky looking red caliper there. If we move around to the back, you've got a linkage driven monoshock. Again, pretty commonplace, common practice with these 125s. And on the back again, you've got a rather bold and brave red caliper, and you've got a single disc, wavy for extra stopping power. No, I'm only joking. But yeah, you have a wavy disc there, which, come on, you're 17 years old, you get a sports bike, you're going to be bragging about your wavy discs, aren't you? Colour options. This bike comes in 2 different colours. So here you have the carbon black with the mint accents and silver accents along there. So I'll just show you what that looks like. The silver is on the tank. I love how they've gone for really angular, aggressive styling. Got that real sharp back end, which just looks so aggressive. It almost looks a bit kicked up. We have a 12-litre tank here. And look at that, that is a chunky yoke. It's nice and substantial, looks pretty beefy. If you do want to put something on here like a phone mount though, you may be struggling as there's not really any room to put one anywhere. And then you have this dash. So I'm going to light it up for you so you can actually see what it's like when it's switched on. Okay, let's switch her on. So you do have a colour dash. So you got your revs here. You've got your miles an hour here, nice and big. You've got your neutral there. Your fuel here, temperature. So you've got all the stuff that you want to sort of see. You've got the GPX written up there. Just looks nice and sporty, and it looks pretty cool, especially when riding at night. Switch gear, very uncomplicated. So you've got your kill switch, you've got your fire up button, hazard lights, indicators, different beam settings. You've got your flasher. Levers aren't adjustable, but they're not too far out, which is particularly good for my baby hands. One thing to mention, the brakes are linked, so when you do put that rear brake on, it is really strong. So one of the cool features for this bike for me is the front end, how aggressive it looks. It's kind of, dare I say, R1-esque, with these little lights under here. You've got the strip LED lights there. So I've just started to run the bike so you can actually see those lights in action. I just think they look gorgeous. And then of course we can't leave out the back lights because again, they just look stunning. To me, it's very Panigale-esque. Dare I say it? We've got R1 at the front, we've got Panigale at the back. Then let's talk about the quality of these components. You've got fins in the plastics. The plastics don't feel cheap. They feel well made. They feel like they're bolted onto the bike correctly. Like nothing's going to kind of fall off. So sorry, I mentioned colours before I got distracted. So this is carbon black, which is my favourite colour that they do, and I'm really glad that the demo came in this colour. Then you do have ultimate grey, which I'll put a picture of on the screen somewhere for you, which the colour is very similar to BMW's Hockenheim silver, but for me it has to be the carbon black. I just think it's got a real nice shape to it. I feel like you could be forgiven for thinking it's a 300. So talking about the height of this bike, let's get it off the paddock stand. Steady does it. Don't want to drop a press bike that's not mine. Okay, so this bike has a seat height of 816mm. Now that does sound quite tall, however it does have a very skinny and narrow seat, so hopefully that'll be good for helping your legs go straight down instead of out and down, which is obviously better. So, okie dokie, so this is what it's like for me to sit on this bike. Now I am 5'4" and I have an inside leg measurement of 29 inches, and on this bike at 816mm I've kind of got the balls of my feet on the floor, hopefully you can see that. Now with it being quite a tall bike, it's not too bad because you are dealing with 158 kilograms of weight, which isn't a lot at all. So where you might lose the confidence with the seat height, you gain it with how light it is. So if I'm to put my feet up here, I don't know if you can see on the GoPro, I have a flat foot on this side, just because I'm leaning it into myself a little bit. Same with this side as well. Now you kind of just got to watch where your feet go, because again, the peg likes to be right where I want to put my feet down, so you kind of have to go in front of it or behind it, whatever you're more comfortable with, because you'll all have different leg lengths to meet. In terms of riding position, so if I'm like this, I don't find it too wristy. It's not too bad. I've got a nice bend in my knee. It doesn't feel like it's something that would induce hip cramp, which I am prone to get. And yeah, it seems relatively comfy for a sports bike position. So yeah, hopefully that has given you guys an indication of the seat height of this bike. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what it's like to push around and just manoeuvre it a little bit when off the bike. Again, super light. It's as you'd expect a 125 to be. No difficulties whatsoever. So since this bike is quite light and the side stand is pretty strong, you can spin it around like this. Which can make it a bit easier if you're trying to spin it around pretty quick to face a different direction and you don't want to do a 20-point turn. Got the key, so I'm going to start the bike so you guys can hear what it sounds like. Generic 125 single cylinder sound. So one of my only real gripes with this bike so far is when it arrived, it came with a bit of a weak battery, which is not a problem, but it would go and it just cut off like that. So what we would do is we would bump it, bring it back, and then we were just going to let it run for a little bit. But you can't do that, and I'll show you for why. Okay, so we've just bumped it, great. Now we just want to let it run on its own for a little bit, just to get some more charge in. Leave it running 10 minutes or so. Side stand switch. Can't let it run. So to me, I just don't think that's quite ideal. Okay guys, so standard practice with my walk around videos, I do a little bit on insurance. Just like to say a massive thank you to my channel sponsor BikeShare. They are a 5-star insurance broker and they massively support me in my journey of being full-time on YouTube. BikeShare kindly gave me an insurance quote on the Sinnis GPX and they came back with a quote based on me being 30 years old, female, residing in Bolton with maximum no claims discount, and they told me it will be £260 fully comprehensive for the year. So if you guys are looking for bike insurance, you're in the market, give the guys at Bike Shirt a call. I'll have a number in my description of this video, so the number will be in there, the link to the website will be in there as well. And yeah, give them a try. If you quote Usernamekate, who knows, you might even get some sneaky discount as well, which is always a plus. So to conclude my video, I don't think this is a bad bike. I think if I was 17 again or learning to ride and I love sports bikes and I was after something sporty, I would absolutely not rule this bike out. It's relatively cheap. You get a 1-year parts, labour and breakdown warranty with this bike, and then you get a further year which is just parts only. So that's something to keep in mind. It's a lot cheaper than most of its competitors in the 125 sports bike market, and it looks really, really good. It looks aggressive, it looks angular, it's got beautiful LED lights, which I think are some of the most stunning LEDs that I've seen on 125 sports bikes. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in and watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you want to support the channel, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. I get so many viewers from non-subscribers, but they don't quite click that button. Click the button, help a girl out. If you want to comment, like, share this video, everything helps and I really appreciate it. So yeah, until next time, stay safe, ride safe. See you around. To the end of the walk round on the Sinnis GPX 125. Why? I can't film like this. The elements are against me. No.